this weather update, we're forecasting another stretch of severe weather with multiple slight risks in place. Ongoing heat that we've seen all summer from Texas all the way through Florida, and the monsoon season that is really getting going in Arizona, New Mexico, and that Four Corners area. I'll have all the details coming right up. Alright, welcome back into another More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beckett Moore. And I haven't done these videos in a while because usually I do take a break during the summer, going on trips, being at my cottage in Illinois. I can't really fit it all in. I'm not at the studio all the time, so I apologize for that. But I am starting to get back into it as we go into hurricane season, monsoon season. We're still seeing a ton of active weather. This summer has been crazy. A lot of active weather, a very active season in the high plains, throughout the Great Plains, and we've just seen so much severe weather. Unfortunately, this summer, some has been deadly. A lot of people lost power during that outbreak in the mid-Atlantic on the East Coast. But I'm back here in the weather studio, and I'm ready to start posting videos again. So I apologize if I am a little rusty, but I'm starting to get back into it here. So let's jump right into the video, looking at the current hazards we have right now throughout the United States. We do have a dense fog advisory, as it was a very foggy morning here in St. Louis. That does include St. Louis, parts of the metro area, up towards Chicago and down into a lot of Missouri. But the big story we're looking at right now is down here in Texas, stretching through Louisiana into the deep south, the panhandle of Florida, all the way into South Florida. We do have red flag warnings, excessive heat warnings, excessive heat watches, and heat advisories here as well. So we've just been seeing this heat dome. It's been going from the southwest to the southeast, kind of shifting over the summer, but it's really been pretty prominent. That's why a lot of Texas residents, you're seeing this all over the news, have been dealing with this heat all summer. Dallas down towards Houston, but I'll get into that in just a little bit here. Now, looking at the SPC outlook for today, we do have a slight risk, two slight risk areas actually for severe weather. One over here into parts of eastern North Carolina, parts of the coast and into the inland country there. Southern Virginia, that is part of that slight risk as well, and maybe a little bit of the Delmarva there is in that slight risk as well. But we also do have another slight risk area, like I just said, over here into southern North Dakota, parts of South Dakota into eastern South Dakota, extreme western Minnesota, and northern Nebraska here. And then we do have a couple marginal risk areas outside of that. Today we do have a 5% chance of tornadoes here into North Carolina, in that first slight risk area over there into North Carolina, southern Virginia. So we're going to have to watch that. I don't know if we're going to see tornadoes today, but we cannot rule it out in both areas, so still be prepared out there. We also do have a 15% chance for hail in this hail outlook from southern North Dakota here into northern Nebraska, again in that slight risk area. Not a big hail threat over here in the North Carolina. And then the wind outlook, we do have 15% chances in both areas as well. So damaging winds could be possible. Pretty conditional day, not expecting much, but we could see just a little. So let's look at the NAM 3-kilometer model. The HRRR model hasn't been so good recently, as it really is hard to forecast these complexes of storms in the summer. It really is hard with these models, and some of the models have been downright really bad recently. So I'm switching it up, going with the NAM 3-kilometer. This is the latest 12Z run. This run just came through, and we're going to look at what their future radar could look like, so what we could be seeing. And so by 4 p.m. we do see some storms fire off here to the east of Raleigh, to the north of Greenville, and to the south of Richmond, Virginia. As we go into 5 p.m. you can see we do have all these storms congeal into this complex line of storms. It's probably going to hit places like Virginia Beach, south onto the coast in that marsh region near Roanoke Island, up towards Kitty Hawk, as we go into 5, 6, 7 p.m. as that complex of storms comes through. Again, damaging winds We can't rule out an embedded tornado, and hail could be possible as well. But I really just watch out for those winds. Be prepared. Have all objects outdoors. Make sure that is all inside and you are prepared for that. I'm not expecting much, but again, it is the summer. Lightning is a big issue here as well, so just be prepared for that if you're to the east of Raleigh here and to the south of Virginia Beach, Greenville, and along the coast here, North Carolina, and inland into that marsh region. Now if we look at the other slight risk region here into North Dakota, into Nebraska, and into Kansas, as we go into around looking at 6 p.m. here today, we do have some cells popping up here into Kansas, into Nebraska. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple maybe some weak supercells down here because again it is 2023. You never know in these high plains in this high plains scenario. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple of supercells here. Definitely going to be having to watch for tornadoes in this risk area. But as we keep going into here around 8 p.m. and here into 9 p.m., we really don't see much. I still think we could have a couple storms. But again, they're probably going to be feeding off that daytime heating. Up into North Dakota and into South Dakota, we're expecting a complex of storms to form by the time we go into late tonight into early tomorrow morning, and that's going to go into parts of Minnesota, Iowa, and into maybe even northern Missouri as we go into Friday. So this is looking at around 6 a.m. here on Friday, and we do have a complex of storms coming through. Again, this is where the model gets a little dizzy. We don't know exactly what it's talking about here. This is going to change, obviously, but we are expecting some storms into Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Iowa tomorrow, and this is definitely going to be a part of that as we do have a complex of storms coming through. By the time we go into around 7 a.m. tomorrow, this is affecting the Quad Cities and northern Missouri. Now that we look at the SPC outlooks for the next 8 days here, again, as you go farther out, it gets more blurrier. You gotta take it with a grain of salt. But day 1, we already covered that. Day 2, we do have a slight risk for severe weather that's stretching from Minnesota down into extreme northeastern Missouri, so into Illinois, Iowa, parts of a large chunk of Wisconsin here. We do have that slight risk for severe weather. Day 3, we do have another slight risk into the Ohio Valley. That does include Columbus, Ohio, down towards Louisville. And then day 4, we do have another slight risk in place. We're definitely going to be having to watch that day. Just a long stretch of severe weather. We usually don't see this in August. This is very unlikely for August. It has been incredibly insane severe weather season. It just feels like it's never ended. We've had a couple breaks here, but it just felt like it's never ended. So again, day 4, day 2 will be Friday, day 3 will be Saturday, and day 4 will be Sunday. Sunday is going to be definitely a day to watch. And then day 5, Monday, we do have another 15% chance or slight risk for severe weather in place. And again, those can get upgraded. If I do have another update out, I will have more information on that. But again, just more severe weather, a lot of the same what we've been dealing with this August into June. I mean, it's been really crazy. Now looking at the heat, this has been a big story throughout the summer. The heat throughout Texas, down through Florida, into the desert Southwest. As we just looked at the start of the video, we looked at those NWS hazards. You can see we're really going to be having that centered into Texas. You can see 107 is going to be the high temperature. This isn't even the expected feels like temperature. This is what the actual temperatures are going to be according to the National Weather Service here. 106 in Austin, 106 in San Antonio. And it looks like 102 in Houston, 103 in the eastern part of the state, and then 100 to 98 in the panhandle of Texas. This stretches all the way into Florida. It was very hot and humid in Florida when I went, which is usually how it is. But, it's summer. It's going to be hot, but this is unusually hot here in Texas. Really hot, this heat dome coming through. And then to the desert Southwest, again, we just got that normal heat that we usually have. But we do have good news as the monsoon season does look to be ramping up into New Mexico, Arizona, southern Colorado, and into Utah here. So definitely going to see some precipitation throughout the mountain region into the Grand Canyon. Hopefully we do get some precipitation near Phoenix. We did have a pretty active monsoon season last year, so probably we're going to be hoping for that again. We need the water here in this region of the country. And then we are going to definitely going to be seeing some rain in the next 72 hours in the Northeast, down through South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and into Florida. Definitely going to be seeing some rain on the East Coast in the next couple of days. So that about wraps up this more weather forecast video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I'm a little rusty, but I'm going to get back into it as I'm doing right now. As always, stay prepared out there for that severe weather today and in the next couple of days. Again, just craziness here for August. But I do have a big announcement. August 17th, so in about 7 days from now, I am going on the Stormfront Freaks podcast with Adeline Spears as well. So going to be a great time. A lot of good questions asked. I'm really excited. I can't thank them enough for having me on the show. It'll be 8 p.m. Central Time, streamed live on YouTube. And then the audio podcast, the audio episode will come out a week later on all your favorite streaming areas for podcasts, I'm pretty sure. So definitely tune into that. Don't miss it. Stormfront Freaks YouTube, 8 p.m. Central Time. All right, as always, subscribe. Go follow me on Twitter, and I will see you soon with more weather.